Right, the first stage would be to scribe the shape of the heart onto the metal surface, and this is done basically with a metal pencil, and you can just about see the design once you've scratched it in. So it's just about visible, and then you take your tin snips and actually start to cut the heart out, which can be a little bit tricky, but if you've got a small enough piece of metal you can get enough manoeuvre around it. I mean, the correct way really to cut shapes out is using a piercing saw, but because these are relatively simple shapes to cut, you can just about manage using the snips. But you do sometimes get some sharp burrs, so you have to be a bit careful not to cut yourself. So then you've got your basic heart shape cut out, and the next stage would be to hammer the edges of this, just to sort of flatten them and remove any sharp edges. So just using the hammer, the metal surface, is to soften the metal, a process called annealing, which involves gently heating the metal, and you should get the copper to like a cherry red colour. It heats up relatively quickly. This metal is quite thin, so it doesn't take very long. Probably hot enough. And then you quench it in the water. And now that's ready to work on for the next stage. Okay, so to create a texture on the surface, I've got a little sort of press stroke stamping tool here, and it gives me a lot of control over the location of the pattern. So you're lining up a male and female side, but because it's held in place with this little sort of chuck, it means that it's not going to be jumping around all over the place, and I can sort of get an even pattern. For the soldering process, I use borax, which is what this cone is, and you grind it up with a little bit of water into a paste, sort of consistency of single cream, and then using a brush we just apply a little bit of this to the surface. And what this is going to do is actually prevent the oxides forming on the surface, so that it enables the solder